Okay, students. Today we have a topic need of the normalization with functional dependency in database similarity system. So what we will see that is a more important point. Normalization and the reduce the complexity is a major concern in the database management system. Normalization means simplification of the database. So when we have to study the normalization in the database management system, so we have to click a point in our mind. What is the normalization? So when we have to see this normalization word, then we have these five kind of six kind of the normal form. So this is normalized form. We have to study first normal form, second normal form, third normal form, bicycle normal form, and fourth normal form, and last we have the fifth normal form. Fifth normal form is also known as the PCNF, that is the projection normal form, and the fourth normal form is also known as the multi-valued normal form. So after understanding all these things, you will say, sir, we have studied the functional normal form, but the question we should have in our mind, what is normalization actually? Without knowing the fundamental part of the normalization, how you can say first normal form you have studied. From this perspective, from this point, we have a concept that is a functional dependency. So functional dependency is not explicitly mentioned in your syllabus. It is implicitly contained in your syllabus to understand the normalized form. And without normalized form, you are not able to say you have the good database. So we have the two terms, one is a bad database and good database. So let me explain before starting all these things. First, I would like to explain the normalization and then functional dependency, and then I will jump on the first or second or any kind of the normal form. That is my point. So I always like to tell the fundamental part first, and then I will like to move to the main content. So without knowing the fundamental part, how you can say you are known to the or you are able to understand the main concept. So, what is the need of the normalization? From this perspective, you have to keep in mind the concept properly. So, we have a one database that is a bad database, that is also known as the good database. So, sometimes you can ask, what is mean by the bad database? Of course, we have the bad database in which we have the duplicacy. So, suppose I have the duplicate identity data or inconsistency in my database. So, how I can say I have the bad? How I can say I have the good database? So a good database must not contain the duplicacy, must not contain the redundancy, and the data we have, it should have the consistency. The consistency means the information should be proper. Any information should not be missing. If I'm following the missing information, so what is the sense of this word? Because the particular information is missed, then we have the inconsistency in the R record. So a good database and bad database we have over here. From this point, we have to understand the need of the normalization. From this point, I'm going to start the normalization rather than the normal form of the database. First, I would like to explain normalization and then functional dependency, and then I would like to start the normal form. Let me explain step by step. Normalization, the need. So, what is the need? To reduce the redundancy. So, it means it does not contain any kind of the inconsistency. If you're having inconsistency in your database, definitely what you are having the meaningless information. Your information or your database just increasing the unnecessary complexity of your information. So the complexity of database will increase while applying the redundancy or inconsistency. So please do not have. And this is a features we have seen, or this is the purpose of the database management system we have discussed. And after applying the normalization steps, keep in mind the information should not be lost. If you're losing some information, then what happens? You are having the lossy information or lossy data. So the information should be lossless. It means while applying the normalization or simplification process or normalization process, your information should not be lost. If you're losing some information, definitely you are not having the good database. At the time again, you are following the bad database. For understanding this concept, let me explain the this steps properly. So we have a one relation name over here, student. In this student relation, we have the different kind of the attributes. Those are the roll number, name, code, phone number, major, and professor, and grade. So as we know, if I'm inserting the information, roll number should be unique. That is the point we have to keep in mind while taking the all the things properly. So that is the point we have to keep in mind. There are some attributes we have over here. Major means we're talking about subjects. What are the major subjects you have been opted? In the interim semester, you have opted the 3 different courses. So those are under into the major subjects. Now, let me explain to all the constraint. What are some constraint and rules and regulations we have to use while implementing this data, this relation or this table? Student roll number should be unique. This is the big question. Yeah, of course. Student roll number should be unique. If we have in the same roll number in our information, then what is the sense we are having the redundancy? So it means we are putting the bad database. Okay, so please avoid such thing. Student can join the mini course, of course, that should be happen. A student can opt the or can choose the many courses, of course it is possible. So as a student, you have opted the 3 different courses as per your required. So this is the student can join the many courses. A particular student can have the phone number and measures. Yes, of course. So as a particular, I can have the single phone number, but and a measure. So in this interim semester, you have opted the DBMS and other 2 subjects. In the next semester, you can also choose another different 3 subject or 4 subject, 5 subjects as per your required grades. But you are having the same contact number that is uniquely contact number, so you can also have. There will be no issue. A course is taught by the only one professor, of course. So the course which is taught by me over here. So that is the one. So database management system CS3001 is a course which is not teaching by the 2 or 3 people or 3 of faculties. That is reason. So as a student, if you are connecting me, so you are connected me by the course only. So you are not connected by the same course by the many faculties. That should not be happening. So this is what these are the defining all the some rules and regulations to apply the information or to apply the any constraint on the database. So these are the some constraints we have to keep in mind. Last constraint we have the one grade is given to the student for the particular course. It has not been so far and it should not be here. Any course can have the many grade. How we can say? In the case of some cases we can have, if you fail in any course, then in the next semester you're trying to get the good grade. So at a time you are improving the F grade to the A plus grade. So that's the reason. So we can say you can have, but the time will be changed because July 2020 or August 2021, it is updated by the December 2021. That is nothing else special. So we are not considering that part only. So we have to keep in mind in the particular grade, you can also have the grade, but finally you CS3001 you have selected, your grade will be updated. So that is the point we can say there's an updation only. Okay, so in the particular subject, you can have also the one grade, you can't have the multiple grades. That is the big point. So this is a fundamental constraint while implementing this relation we have to keep in mind. So what is a constraint? This is the question of when student ask me question, a student ask me a question. So what is constraint? Constraint means we are applying some rules and regulations to build our information, to build our relation properly, and it follows the some restriction. Student roll number should be unique. So this is a restriction. You can't insert the 2 times the same roll number if you're putting, so you are increasing the complexity of the database while putting the redundancy. So that is a big point we have to keep in. Okay, so this is the point we have to clear. Here we have our relational state. This is our some example of the information we have put it over here. I hope this example is visible to all. Is it visible to all? The name, course, phone number, major, professor, and grade, and all the data, starting from the Rohit to Baxter and grade, each everything. Is it visible to all?
Yes, sir.
So from this relation, we are not including the roll number. So that is a big point. If we don't have the unique roll number, if you are not applying the any key attribute over here, so how to identify that and how to make this relation information as a uniqueness, that is a big point we have to keep in mind. So from this perspective, we have to understand this example, and we have to understand the functional dependencies, and we have to understand the something properly. So if you are not applying the roll number as a unique identification information, so multiple or duplicacy will be there. So let us understand what are the issues, what are the problems we can observe. So let me show the some part. That is the problem. So can anyone tell me what is anomaly? We have the four problems. What is redundancy, update anomaly, insertion anomalies, and deletion anomalies. Can anyone tell me what you mean by the anomalies? Anyone who have any idea about the word anomaly?
So when we have duplicate data and we modify at one place, but at the second place the data remains same, then it is a case of an anomaly.
Yes, of course. This is a good answer you are telling me to right now. It's great answer. So update anomaly can be, and insertion anomaly can be, and deletion anomaly can be. Suppose this information is already available. I'm trying to insert. So again, what I'm doing, I'm following the insertion anomaly. So this is issues actually. Anomaly means I'm talking about the issues. There are some issues while applying the certain operations. So what are the operations? Update, insertion, and deletion. So these are the primary operations if I'm applying on my database. So definitely some issues may occur. So this can be considered as an anomaly. So let us understand the step by step each and every point over here. So let me start from the very beginning problem. That is the redundancy. Now you can see over here redundancy of the data will be over here on the our three different tuples or three different rows. Rohit, we have three times, and it also having by the same phone number, same measures. So we can say redundancy of data is applicable over here. That is a big point we are observing over here. Is it so? So duplication of the data will be applicable. So that is a big problem we are observing over here. So that is the reason. So redundancy of the data can be. Okay, so is it clear to all right now with the help of this image or this diagram? The redundancy of data will be there. Rohit is coming three times and same the phone number and of course measures as well. Is it clear to all? Please tell me right
Yes,
now.
sir.
Yeah. Now, redundancy of data is not limited to the name and phone number and the measures. This is also contained by or this also maintained by the course and professor as well. So this is the point we can observe over here in the correlation when we are not using any key attributes. So definitely duplicacy of data will be there. So this is a normal thing we have. So redundancy of data may be available in the any database. It is also possible. So that is the point we have to keep in mind that this is a problem. So we have to understand all these problems and we have to try and resolve such problems. So that's why we have to understand the normalization thing. So normalization will be applicable when we have to understand the what is the problem we are having inside the database or relation property. Next anomaly, so we have the update anomalies. So if I need to update the contact number of the Rohit student, so if I try to update contact number 6964555, so if I'm trying to update the contact number only to first and third rows, third records I'm updating. So but Rohit that belong to the this one. Yeah, the Rohit, this will be updated. This will be updated. But if I'm looking at this Rohit, this phone number is not updating. So why? Because the name we have the Rohit of the student over here, and his contact number should be updating 6964553 after updating. So this is what this is an anomaly. So that is the reason we have to keep in mind properly over here. Again, we are having the anomaly. Okay, so this is the update anomaly, but this is not updating because it is not connected. It is not connected to this last phone number, which is marked by me over here. I am marking once again. This is the point. Next, we have the insertion anomaly. So CS500 student is a course. CS500 is a course. If I'm trying to add over here, but keep in mind this information is not available, then how I can insert? That is the first point. Okay, no problem. If I'm trying to insert the first time, so we can insert, but this is already available in the my record. In the my record, then again I'm having the insertion anomalies. So duplicacy of the record can be adjusted without any doubt. So that is a big point. So this is the insertion anomalies can be happen. Normally we can insert any information, but if you're trying to insert same course number which is already available by the particular students, then what is the sense? There will be no sense. Deletion. If I'm trying to remove the CS503 course, this 503 is also course was opted by the another student. And if I'm trying to remove such course, then if I try to remove, then the respectively rows which is holding by the course CS503 will also be deleted. And if you remember the any query as we have discussed while understanding the SQL commands, I'm trying to update the contact number of the XYZ person. Suppose I forgot to add the condition and then I'm updating the contact number. Then this can be a part of the anomaly. All the contact number will be updated without applying the condition. So that is the reason this is the sometimes command are good, so sometimes command are not good. So what is the command we are using at the moment we have to keep in mind properly. So course number is saying to us if you try to delete a course number CS503, then the course which are associated with the other students course that also will be reflected and this record also be deleted and this should not be happening. So deletion anomalies and update anomalies and insertion anomalies are the normal issues and that is the reason we have to keep in mind properly. So while building the database in our system properly. So nothing is easy and nothing is hard, but we have to understand the concept in simple way. That is the point. So these are the some issues and that provide the our information or that provide our uh, target or way to go into the good direction or right direction that is known as the good database. These are the some points. Now, we have to understand from this perspective function dependencies. So from this point, you are allowed to open your eye and you have to open your eyes and mind over here and listen properly. Each and every single statement will help you to understand the concept in simple way. Once you are missing any single steps, once you are missing any point, then the next part it is not easy to capture properly. That's why I'm speaking once again. So from the function dependencies, you have to understand the concept properly. Without function dependency, you are not able to understand the normalized one. Okay. So let me know right now once again, and let me ask to all the people once again over here. So any doubt so far? The what is the student relationship we have, and what are the anomalies we can have? So why normalization is required? Because we are having the complexity, and this complexity can be increased by applying the anomalies, and that is followed by the update, insertion, deletion, anomalies. That is my point. Just tell me right now. Any doubt so far?
No, sir.
Okay, good. So functional dependency, I can say this is a functional dependency means FD. In short way, we have to speak the functional dependency. In short way, we have to use the keyword FD. Okay, so FD. So FD are the constraint on the legal relation. So please keep in mind this is a legal relation. Legal relation means I'm speaking about the valid relation. Okay, valid relation. And second point, we have to keep in mind properly. It expresses the fact about the enterprise that we are modeling the database. So if we're modeling the database properly, then keep in mind the concept properly. It must focus on the database modeling in a smooth way and the complexity should not be increased. Just like the programming. So how to resolve the issues by seeing the time complexity and space complexity. So you will have to use the appropriate task properly. That is the reason we have the functional dependency over here. From this point, let us understand and let us identify the functional dependency. This is a key point you have to keep in mind. You have to keep in mind the key point. There is no algorithmic method of identifying functional dependencies. We have to use our common sense and judgment. This is the point you have to keep in mind. We have to use our common sense and judgment to specify the functional dependency. This is a key point you have to keep in mind. It means there's no specific rules, there's no specific algorithm is available, but fundamental rules, fundamental steps we have to take care properly. So there's no algorithmic steps. Please keep in mind there is no algorithmic steps we have in this. Okay. So from this point, let me explain this term right now properly. So what this step is saying to us? This step is saying to us here we have the some information, and this information is defined. Yeah. So this define the dependency diagram. Yes, we are not using the roll number as a key attribute, but here we are opting. That is the point. It is you have to keep in mind. We have to opt the name and course number as a key attribute. So if you are as a student, then you can opt the course and your name. So what is the course you are opting along with your name? So that's why that can be identified by as a key attributes. Key attributes mean we can make the combination of super key, or we can make the combination of these two attributes as a key attributes to identify the uniqueness. So name is an attribute that can depend. That can be depend on the course. Yes, it is possible or not. So we have to think. Course is depend on the name. We have to think it is possible or not. So we have to use our common sense to understand the concept properly. So let us understand by step the concept properly. The phone number. As a student, you are having the phone number. So phone number will be depend on your name. Suppose your name is XYZ. So your phone number will be depend on your name. But same name is having by the many people or many students, then at that time, how we can say? So we have to determine the thing properly and is it possible or not. So that's why the student who belong to the BC by branch, okay, that is a BC by specialization. And in the BC by specialization, he has opted the CS 3001 database management system. So what the core student is opting based on the name of the student, we can easily determine this is the point. The font is also a point which is depend on the name as well. Majors, you what the course you are selecting. Okay, as a you are selecting this course over here, and you are not opting the another course. So what is the course you are selecting? That is depend on your name as well. And professor. So what is the professor offering the courses over here? So that is a point we have to keep in mind. We have to read the statement carefully, properly. So you can see, observe over here. I would like to explain my concept properly. Then it is easy to understand. Font is basically an attribute that can be depend on the name. That can be depend on the name. So we can write this statement: name is determinant to phone number. Okay, this is the point we have to keep in mind. Name is an attribute that can determinant to phone number. Please focus the word properly. Measure is an attribute that can be depend on the name. So we can say name is determinant to measure. Now it is already shown over here in the left side. You can observe over here. If I need to read this statement from the right to left, then how I can read? Font is an entity. Font is an attribute that is depend on the name. So from which direction you are reading, that is more important. We have to keep in mind. So if alpha and beta are the two attributes, so I am marking by a circle way. This is alpha is an attribute, and beta is also an attribute. If there are something which is depend on the another attribute, so we can determine which part is important. So see, for example, age of the student is depend on the date of birth. Is depend on the date of birth. So age is depend on the date of birth. So how I can write? Date of birth is determinant to age. This would be the notation, or this simple example I'm reading here, and I'm writing here properly. So date of birth is an attribute that is determinant to age. It means age is an attribute that is depend on the date of birth. That is my point. Now it is clear. This dependency diagram is clear to all right now? Or anyone who need to ask? So one question I'm remembering right now, a student asked me this question. Sir, name and phone number can be the key attributes? Yes, of course. So it's your problem, it's your choice. What the problem you're solving. So based on your logic, based on your common sense, you have to identify the what are the key attributes we can make. Yes, of course, name and phone number can become the can become the key attributes. But still, I have the question. Suppose if you're thinking name and phone number, you're making the name and phone number as a key combination. Sir, my name is there, this is my contact number. But suppose there are two students who belong to the my same number, same name, but they are also having a different contact number. So by the combination of the phone number and name, we can make the key attribute. Yes, it is possible or not? Just tell me right now. Is it possible? Is it possible? We can make the combination of the name and phone number as a key attribute. Just tell me right now, is it possible? Just tell me right now over here. Any doubt so far?
No, sir, you can continue.
Okay. So name and phone number can be. So it's a choice, it's a logic, it's an idea how you can interpret the such thing properly. So that's the point we have to keep in mind. So dependency diagram is saying to us which thing is depend on the other thing. Things means attributes. That is the point. So here, what I need to explain over here. So I've already explained this thing to the other students. So I'm explaining once again over here. Same diagram I have copied from the previous slide. The duplicacy we have over here. So you can observe over here. This diagram is essential while learning the thing properly. So I'm explaining alpha and beta. So alpha is in our name attribute and phone number is the beta attribute. So if phone number is depend on the name, so we can interpret name is determinant to the phone number and phone number is determinant on the name. Okay, so this is a point. So this is our first. See, I can say highlighter. Yes, this can be the one, and this can be the another. So this is the point. So alpha and beta can be. So alpha determined to beta means beta is dependent on the alpha. So one number is dependent on the name. If I'm speaking the this record T1, Nath, Rohit, Martin, and Rohit or Baxter. So you can observe over here. This is the tuple T1. Is a tuple 2. I'm just explaining. I'm using. This is the tuple T1 for understanding purpose. This is the tuple T1, and this is the tuple T2. So why I'm typing the tuple T1 T2? So please focus here. Please focus properly. In the relation algebra, we have to use a word relation instead of the table. We have to use the word tuple instead of the row. That is the point of it. Nothing especially. So that is the point we have to keep in mind properly while learning this point right now. So alpha determinant of beta means beta is an attribute that is dependent on the alpha. So here the phone number is determined on the name. So we can write the name is determinant to phone number. So phone number is depend on the name. That is simple example. From this perspective, from this point, I have to explain the functional dependencies point. So now please open your eyes once again and listen carefully over here. So functional dependency is a kind of the constraint we have to keep in mind properly. So it is a kind of the constraint we have to use properly. That is the first point. Do not think any other thing. Just think the concept properly. Functional dependency type of the particular constraint, and the notion of the functional dependency is generalization. That is the notion of the key. So here I've already explained this concept. So I'm explaining once again to all the people right now. Listen carefully. A1 determinant to A2. So it means what is saying to us A1 determinant to A2. So actually what is this? If you remember the object-oriented programming, where you have seen this concept in the case of the parent-child relationship. So when we have the parent and where we have the child relationship, so you can observe over here, A2 is a part of the A1. A2 is a part of the A1. So focus on the my words properly. A2 is a child of the parent A1. So A2 is a part of the A1. So we can say A2 is depend on the A1. So we can say A1 is determinant to A2. So that is a notion for the functional dependency. So what is this? This is a notion. So how I can write? How I can write A1 determinant A2. Why? Because A2 is an attribute that is dependent on the A1. So that is sense. And the functional dependency play an important role in a database designing. And as I told you, it is required to modeling the database smoothly. And functional dependency is just required to follow the legal relation. Legal means valid relation, as I told you. So any doubt over here? So please let me know right now. Any doubt here? Yes, tell me. Any doubt? If you have, so please let me know right now. This is the slide we have to keep in mind properly. In the slide by slide, we will understand the concept. So if you have any doubts, so please let me know right now. Yes, tell me. Yes, any doubts so far?
No, sir.
Okay. So I will ask the slide by slide. If you have any slide, if you have any doubt at any slide, so please you can ask me. Let R be a relation schema. So if R be a relation schema, the word you have to keep in mind. And subset K of the R. Subset K of the R is a super key. So what I mean to say that over here? If R be a relation schema and subset K of R is a super key of the R, so it means there are some attribute. There are some attributes or there are many single attribute can be a super key or can be a key attributes. So we can say it is subset of the our R. Definitely it would be. Out of the list of the attribute of the relation, we can't make the our attribute as a primary key attribute or any key attribute. No, it is not possible. So in any legal relation R we have over here, and we have to keep in mind all the pairs T1 and T2, that is tuples. All the pairs T1 and T2 are tuples in the relation R such that. So T1 and T2 cannot be equal. T1 and T2 cannot be equal. Why? Why? Because we are applying the key on the both record. So let me explain this thing properly. Suppose we have a student name X. He is having the subject name computer science. Okay, computer. Another student is also having the same name, that is X, and the student also having the subject name computer science. So we can say here we have a duplicacy, but after applying the key concept, we can say these are the two different people. But in our record, in our system, how we can determine, because both are having the two same kind of the value, computer science X and computer science X. So how we can say these are the different? So it is better idea that we can apply the primary key. So we can say. But primary key we have not studied so far in the functional dependency. So what we can say, this x1 and this is a different x1, but in the our information we are not able to identify. So what is the another thing? I can use the phone number. So this x1 can have the phone number 12 something, and this x1 also having the phone number 24. So what is the key attributes I can make over here? So I can choose the as a phone number as a key attributes, or I can choose the combination of the name, student name and phone number as a key attribute. So that can become as a key attribute. Student phone number and student name can be as a key attribute. So that's why we have the this key. So uniquely identification can be done by this tuple. This is tuple T1 and this is tuple T2. So these tools can be identified by as a uniquely after applying the any key. And this good key can be super key, candidate key, and primary key. So super key just can be the composite key, or more than two attributes can become a key attributes. So that's why we are calling the composite key attributes. If you're using the single attribute as a key attribute, just like the phone number you can take over here, so this can be identified by as a super key. Okay, so no issue. And from the super key, we have seen the candidate key. If you remember the concept, if you remember the this concept in the class. Next, we have seen the primary key. So primary key is also derived from the candidate key. So super key, candidate key, and then primary key. So this list of the pair T1 and T2 cannot be equal. So this is the point I am speaking once again. See, here T1 and T2 are equal. Here T1 and T2 are equal, but how I can say these are the different? So phone number will be the different, but here the Rohit, we have the same student also having the, if it is same student, then at that moment we can say, that he has the same phone number. It means Rohit is the same student. But if we have the Rohit name over here 2 or 3 times, but phone number we have the different, so we can say here these are the 3 different students who are having the same name Rohit. So that was my point. So number, phone number or name can also treat it as a key attribute. So that's why we have this concept. So T1 K is not equal to T2 K, means we're talking about the tuples, the rows, and the information we have that is not equal to. Okay, so both are tuple T1 T2 are not equal to. So no two tuple in any legal relation R may have the same value on attribute set K. So that is the point. Yes, the slide is clear to all right now. The slide is clear. Yes, tell me. Anyone who need to ask any question right now, so please you can ask. This slide is clear.
It is clear, sir.
Okay, good. So I'm repeating once again. If you have any doubt on the particular slide, please you can ask, because without knowing the fundamental part, if we will discuss something in the exercise, then you will say, sir, just could you explain once again? So I would not like to explain once again that part on that moment, because we are discussing the numerical part. So numerical part will be based on the fundamental part. So focus on the concept. That's why I'm just again backing to exercise our example to explain my concept again. So next slide we are moving. So here we have. So the notion of the functional dependency, just focus on my words. The notion of the functional dependency implies the notion of the super key that alpha is a subset of the R. Now you will say, sir, what is mean by the alpha? Yes, of course. See, here's the point. Suppose alpha is an attribute and beta is another attribute. Okay. So if alpha is another attribute and beta is another attribute. So relation R, student is our relation. So in the student relation, we have the name, course, phone number, major subjects, professor, and grade. So these are the various attributes. Those are the part of this relation. So we can say this can be we can say name is an attribute. For example purpose, I'm saying name is an attribute that can be the subset of relation student. Can I say? Tell me right now. Can I say this one? And grade, phone number, professor can be the subset of the student relation. Can we say? Just tell me yes or no. Is it? Say yes or no. Yes, tell me. Yes. Okay. So that's why we have to understand this slide. The notion of the functional dependency generalize the notion of the super key. Let alpha is an attribute that could be the name, and beta is an attribute that could be phone number or any other attribute, grade, or whatever you want to use. Can be a subset of the relation R. Yes, of course, it is R. So this is a statement. So the functional dependency, we can say alpha tends to beta. So now alpha tends to beta, or we can say alpha determinant to beta. Yes, of course, could be. So it is some kind of the cases when some attribute information is depend on the another attributes. So at that moment we have the functional dependency. So it means the attributes functional dependency is depend on the another attributes. That's why we have the one attribute depend on the another attribute, or many attributes can depend on the single attribute. Vice versa is also possible. So next we have the alpha determined to beta, means alpha is determined to beta and beta is determined or depend on the alpha. In this case, we can say it is good. So in the point we have to keep in mind if the two tuples T1, T2 we are having. So T1 is a tuple which is managed by the alpha. So let me write over here for a better man. Rohit, this is tuple T1. Rohit name from the name attribute for explain purpose only. Okay, just explain purpose only. Can be equal to Rohit from the name attribute. But this Rohit belong to the third row or third tuple, the sequence number, and this belong to the then. But it seems true that we are having the same. It is having the duplicacy. So that is the point. Let me explain this thing by this example. Tuple P1 from the name attribute is also having the same name, that is Rohit. It also generating the result as an Rohit. It is also generating the same result as an Rohit. So that is the point, my dear students. If we are having the tuple T1 or T2 over here, so these two tuples are also having the same name, so duplicacy can be there. So if these are the part of the things we can say duplicacy can be. So that is the point. It also, if phone number is depend on the name. So the name is Rohit we have, and it has the phone number 696,453. So the tuple value, that is Rohit, we have the this one here, from the name we have the Rohit. So tuple value from the beta attribute, that is the phone number, will also be same, that is a 696,453. So if I'm choosing the right this one, E1 from the phone number will be equal to the tuple value T2 from the phone number, and both are will generate the result value, that is the 696,453. So from this perspective, you are able to see that we are getting same answer. It means if one values is depend on the other values, if beta is depend on the alpha or phone number is depend on the name, it means the values which is holding by these two tuples can also represented by the equation. It is also possible. That was a slide. That was a slide. This is clear to all right now? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So if you have any doubt at any slide, on any slide, please you can ask me right now and we will discuss properly. So I am also explaining the same thing with the help of the example. Okay, so this is the point, this is a slide. This slide is required to understand the next concept. Let me explain the point. So using the functional dependency notations, we say that K is a super key of the R. In the functional dependency notation, what is notation? Yes, A determinant to P and B depend on the A. So we see that if K is our attribute, that is a key attribute we can say, and that is a determinant to relation R. That is a super K. K is where the key attribute we are applying on the K, that will be the equal on the tuple T2, that is a K. So it is also having the case T1 is relation R and T2 relation R will have the same values, and that is identified by the T1 and T2 will be equal, that is duplicacy they are putting. So now let me explain this thing. I am explaining this thing with the help of the highlighted point. Now let me use the highlighter to explain the concept properly. That is one. See, Rohit is an name. See, Rohit basically is a name over here. Rohit is also available here. And this course is also available over here, CS203. And it's also having the different course. Okay, so if we have the same thing, different thing, there will be no issue. But in the case of the phone number, you are able to see that it is also having by the same phone number. It is also having by the same phone number. So in the case of the name and phone number, you are able to see you will able to see that if you are trying to make the combination of the student name and phone number as a key attribute, so at a time duplicacy can also be there. Duplicacy can also be there. Without any doubt, duplicacy can also be there because both are having the same contact number, no issue. But in the case of this point, if we have the yeah, we have the this Nath and Martin. This Nath and Martin, we have the different, but they are also opting the same code. So in the course, we can say name in course becomes as a key attribute. So again in this case we can say if Martin is having the different course, then Martin also having the another course CS503 at the bottom side you can able to see, then there will be no issue. But in the case of the individual column, individual attributes, we are having the duplicacy. So in this slide, what it is saying to us, in this slide, it is saying to us, if we're choosing the any key attribute, if we're choosing any key attribute, but in the case of the our example, if we have a tuple, and if tuple, the tuple we are applying the key attribute, but we found that name are many times coming over here, phone number also coming many times, course also coming many times. So there are some relations, some tuples can be duplicacy, and in the case we can say super key what was we have in our mind we are planning that can be failed. That was a mind. Rohit Martin coming, okay, that's coming one time, there will be no issue, but Martin coming two times, Rohit coming three times. Course 203, we have the one time, 308, we have the one time, but 303 is coming two times. Phone number, we have the duplicacy as marked by name over here. And for computer science, we coming two times. Professor Bharat, we have the two times. Grid, we have the two times. A and AB. So duplicacy is also available over here. So at a time, the functional dependency you are looking for, that is depend on the this attribute area, of course. So duplicacy will be there. See, this is the fundamental part we are looking at, and we are trying to find the duplicacy is available or not. Yes, of course, they are available. If we are trying to remove about the duplicacy by applying the super key, so there is no guarantee while applying the super key or when choosing the particular attribute, you can reduce the duplicacy. So that is it. So we are not having the uniqueness in the R relation, following by our database, of course. For this point, we have to use the primary key. So primary key just provides a better tool to provide the uniqueness in the our database. That is the reason super key was not succeed, and we have to inspect the key attribute from the super key to connect key and connect to primary key. So nowadays primary key is working on the lower level where it can provide the uniqueness in the our database or in the our relation properly. But uniqueness with the help of the super key is not possible, and I have proved my concept why it is not possible. If you try to make the combination of the name and course and name and the phone number, if there is no guarantee, you can put the same thing. So that is a big problem. But here we have the small amount of data, but when we have the large amount of data, so duplicacy definitely will occur without any doubt, and we can't avoid in simple way. So primary key was introduced due to this reason. Super key was not succeed. That's why we have this one. Okay, so tell me any doubt over here. If you have, so please let me know right now. Oh, yes, tell me any doubt here.
It is clear, sir.
Yes, whenever you have any problems, so please let me know right now because it is a fundamental part. You can't miss a single statement and single thing properly. Now, come to the point. I'm coming to the next point and our next slide as well. Now, this slide. So after founding this thing, we have been observed over here. Functional dependency we have seen, but super key is not succeed. So we are using the primary key. But if it is given in the our system, then it's okay. But in our relation it is not given, then we have to make the key attribute of primary key or composite key by choosing the appropriate value, appropriate attributes. So you have to choose the appropriate by using your common sense and judgment. That's my point. So there is no specific algorithm. Focus on the words properly. So a functional dependency is relationship between the two attributes. That's why what we have to keep in mind. Functional dependency is basically a concept that is provide a relationship between the two attributes, and that relationship can be stand between the two attributes followed by the primary key attributes, and other one is the non-key attributes. Now, what is a non-key attribute? Non-key attributes means the key attributes which are not having the or which are not providing the key relationship, key providing or key attributes. But primary key is basically what we have, that is having what the primary key, the all the values will be unique, so the uniqueness in our record will be there. Records, or we can say tuples, will be there. So I'm speaking something here properly, so read properly. So non-key attribute could be the age. Age of the student can be entered many times: 90, 90, 90, 20, 20, and 30, 21, and 18, 16, 20. How many times we can enter many times? Duplicacy will be there because it is not a key attribute. Okay. So if we have the 1,000 students, so each and every student does not belong to their own different age. Okay. Each and every student also having the same kind of age, it is possible. Name. You are the not unique name holding person in this world. Okay, and you are not a part of the particular country where the you can't have the king name like this one. So that is the point. So in this world, we can also have the many name without any doubt. No one can stop you. So name and age are the two attributes that cannot meet our criteria to make a uniqueness. So student ID is better idea. Student ID is roll number is a better idea. So we can make student ID as a primary key. So there's a thing we can see. Now come to the point. If I'm observing over here, I have mentioned the x determinant to y. This x determinant to y is saying to us what is saying to us. It is saying to us x determinant to y means y is depend on the I am highlighting this statement. So think properly. So x determinant to y means y is depend on the x. If the word have to listen carefully. If x is a student ID, if x is a student ID and y is a student name, so student name is depend on the student ID. That is a feasible solution we can say, because there are lots of the students who have their name, but how I can identify really who are you and you are belong to this ID or not. So based on name I can identify, based on who I can identify. So there are many combinations which can depend on the one attribute that could be the primary key, and there are some chance we can have. So student name can also depend on their ID, so we can easily identify. So while facing the examination, you have been noted so many times, we will not like to call your name, we will like to call your roll number. So are you present over here? Because X is the name of the student who can be here or who cannot be here. But it is better idea to call the student ID, so at least we can say yes, you are present or not. So that is a better idea, and that provides a uniqueness and do not provide any kind of confusion. So that's why we have the functional dependency where we have the primary key and we have to use this thing properly. So if X is represented by the primary key holding attribute and Y is a non-primary key holding attribute, so Y will be depend on the key attribute, that is the primary key attribute, that is X. So for every valid instance of the X we have, that is the value we are inserting, that will be identified by as a uniquely because we are having the primary key, and this is the point. So what is determinant and dependent? So now it is written over here. So now we have seen this concept already from the previous slide. But here we have to keep in the left side of the FD diagram is called the determinant. So X is what X is known as a determinant. And dependent is SNAME, because SNAME student name is dependent on the student ID. So that is what that is dependent attribute. And determinant attribute will be identified by on the left side. That is the point. Now, this slide is clear to all right now. Tell me any doubt. If you have, so please let me know right now. This slide is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Now, here we have an example. So this example is required to understand the basic and fundamental part of the functional dependency. So name, address, and birth date. Now I'm marking in the circle way over here. So I'm again marking by the highlighted way of the student, address of the student I'm choosing, and name I'm also choosing. So here you can observe over here your name is XYZ, your address is XY ABC city, and your birth will also be into 2020. Then what happened? Your friend also, unfortunately, your friend also having the same name and same city. You both belong to the same city, and you also having the same name. And it is true. It has been happened with me. So that's why I'm saying it is true and it can be possible. But it's bad luck. I don't know. It can be bad luck. Both students are also having the same birth date. Coincidentally, then it means we have the same student name, same address, and same address means same city. I'm talking about not the exit colony or area. I'm talking about city only and birth date. So what is happening over here? Duplicacy we can have. So we can say the name, address, and birth date. These are the value which can be depend on the our primary key attribute, that is student identification number, student ID. So that is a functional dependency. So SIN here is known as the determinant attribute, while name, address, and birth date are also known as the dependent attributes. So that is the point. So name, address, and birth date also become as a non-key attributes. That was the point you have to keep in mind properly. Now, there's no guarantee we can make the key attribute or the determinant as a single. We can make the combination. So with the help of the student identification and number and codes, just like BAI or BCY 20, BCY 20, BAI. So with the help of these two students, roll number who is starting this one, and what are the codes they have been opted. So with we can understand when they are completing the course. So in the interim semester, if you are part of the 20 MIM and 19 VAI or BCZ, so what BCZ, what we have, the student who will do the 20 MIM and 20 19 BCZ, and plus they have updated the course CS 3001, and when this course will be completed, so date of the completion of their course will be identified by their roll numbers as well as the course what they are studying. So at a time we are choosing the more than one attribute as a key. So this can be identified by the composite primary key, or we can say it is known as the composite key. The word we have to keep in mind is known as the composite key. Another example, you remember title. The title of the book we have the same. Database management system is not a unit title, there is a common title, we can have the book, many books. So from our book library or from our various ebook library, we can found that there are lots of the books are available in this society where we have the same kind of the books. But who is the author and what is the price of the book? What is the publisher of the book? We can easily determine by the ISBN number. So ISBN International Standard Book Number. This is the number by which we can uniquely identify. Previously, it can be mentioned by the barcode. Now we have the smart thing, so we can identify such ISBN code by the QR code. So there are lots of the technologies available. So, but we are not talking about technology. We are talking about the concept. So title is what title can have the or title will be depend on the ISBN. Instead of title, you can see title, book name, book author. Okay, book title, book name, author name, price, and publisher can also be depend on the ISBN, because ISBN will be the unique of the each and every book. You have the one book and your friend also having the same book, so definitely ISBN of the book will be unique. That was the simple concept you have to keep in mind. So from this perspective, we can easily identify. So that is a thing you can see over here. This is simple example. So this is the entire example. Now, it is clear to all right now? It is clear? Or any doubt, please you can you have, so please you can ask it. Now this side is clear. So far any doubts, please let me know right now. Because now we have started the functional dependency, and functional dependency will not end in simple way. We have the some example by which we will see. But before that, let me clear the fundamental part to all the students. Yes, tell me. If you have any doubts, so please you can ask me. Tell me yes or no, or should I continue?
You can continue, sir.
Okay, good. Thank you. So after this point, there are some rules we have to follow. So it is not easy to understand the functional dependency because you have to apply your logic. You have to use a brain or mind to solve the problem. So the point we have to keep in mind properly rules of the functional dependency. So I'm putting only three important rules. What is the reflexive rule? Okay, so the reflexive rule, I put it over here. Next, we have the augmentation rule. Those students who have any idea about the Boolean algebra concept, so they know all these things properly. So in the algebra, you have studied all these tools. And for sake of knowledge, I am just taking once again all these concepts step by step. Now, first rule is a reflexive rule. A reflexive rule, it is very simple rules. X is the set of the attribute. It could be the one attribute or it can be set of the attribute. And y is a subset of the x. Y is a subset of the x. Then x hold the value of the y. Then x hold the value of the y. So just like example, name, address, and phone number is a set of the attribute. And so if I'm writing the name is a subset of the name, ad, and phone number, address, and phone number. So what I mean to say that name is a part of the name, address, phone number attributes. So this is the point you have to keep in mind. Name determinant to name, address, and phone number, and this is a depend on the name. So what I mean to say, this is some value which is holding by this part. Reflexive. We have a reflexive rule. Reflexive. Augmentation rule is saying to us, suppose no need to discuss again over here. It is fundamental thing, you know. But let me highlight the thing properly. Suppose I'm writing the A determinant to B. In the red, you'll be able to see I'm writing A determinant B. If I'm adding C at the both sides, augmenting means I'm adding. So its nature of the holding the data will not be changed. So because I'm adding the C in the both sides, I'm not adding the one side, I'm adding the both sides. So that is the dependency will not be changed. Dependency will be as it is. So this is the augmentation rule you can use. Transitivity rule. Transitivity rule is saying to us we have the our transitivity. It is saying to us if x is determinant to y, if x is determinant to y, and y is determinant to z. So with help of the transitivity rules, what you can do, x will be determinant to z. X will be determinant to z. So due to this transitivity rule, you can hold the such thing. Okay. Now clear? Yes, tell me right now. This fundamental part is clear to all right now? These rules are clear to all right now, the functional dependency rules.
Yes, sir, they are clear.
Okay. So this is the point from which we have to start our learning about the functional dependency. Once your silly mistakes will lose your marks, so please understand the concept properly. Okay. So now move to the next slide. There are some rules of the functional dependency we are studying. So let us understand a simple example. So here we have an example R. R we have a relation and it contains some attributes. Those are belong to the A, B, C, D. Okay. So R is our relation. R we have a relation and it contains some attributes. Those are the A, B, C, D, and E. From this point, you are able to see over here something over here. So I'm just marking with the highlight way. You can see. A is an attribute that is uniquely identify the entire records A1, A2, A3, A4, and A5. So from this point, you will be able to see this is diagram. This is in this we have the some attributes A, B, C, D. So A is basically known as the key attribute. How you can say why? Because it contains the unique information. While you can able to see the B. So B is you can see over B you can see B1 you have, B1 again you have, B2 you have, the B2 is also coming and B3 also. So unhighlighted are showing to the duplicacy. In the C you have the C1 and you have the C2, C1 is already and C1 and C3. Same thing I'm talking about the D1. So D1 you can have, D2 you can have, but D2 is already have. In the case of the E1, in the case of the E attributes, E1 is coming, but all the attribute, all the data which are belong to the E attribute, E11 coming the many times. So it means it represents the duplicacy. So B and C, D are the our attributes which are holding the duplicacy. That was my point. B and C and D are the our attributes which are holding the duplicacy, while A is only the attribute which does not belong to the duplicacy part. So let me continue this part to explain my idea. So what are the observations we are seeing over here? So as per our question is saying to us, after seeing this question example and the function dependency is saying to us, what kind of the dependency can be observed? What kind of the observation can be among attributes in the table R? That is a big question we should have in our mind. So as we know, since A is our attribute that holds the unique value, as we have discussed, A, A2, A1, A3, A2, A5, A1. This is uniquely identified. Without any doubt, it is clear to all. So by the definition of functional dependency, we know B will be depend on the B can be depend on the A. Say yes or no. Am I right or not? Say yes or no. B can be depend on the A by the definition of the function definition. Can we say B can be depend on the A? Tell me yes or no. Can be? Say yes or no.
Yes, sir.
So how you can say? Can you tell me how you can say? How you can say A is depend on the or B is depend on the A? How you can say? Can you tell me right now? Can you justify this point right now? Before speaking yes or no, just let me know right now.
So because A determines B, so we can say B is dependent on A.
No. Again, you are missing some points as I told you. See this slide. As a definition of the functional dependency, my dear student, is a relationship between the two attributes and typically between the primary key and the other non-key attributes. See, this is an important statement you have to keep in mind. So this is I'm highlighting. Before saying yes or no, please focus on the concept. Please, that's why I'm speaking once again to all the students. Please listen carefully. You are missing the one step, then you will not be able to understand the concept properly. That's why I'm speaking. So we have to identify the primary key is exist or not. If primary key does not exist, then we have to make the key attribute. But in this case, in this example, we have already seen the attribute as a primary key attribute because it contains all the tuple value as a uniqueness. So A will be the primary key. So from the definition of our functional definition part, non-key attribute is B, C, D, E. Now I have already written over here. This is a non-key and this is a key attributes. Okay. Please focus on the concept. Once you miss the concept, everything will be flushed out. So C can also be depend on the A. B can also depend on the A because this is our observation we found over here. So this is what? This is, see, you're talking about the determinant dependent. This is only the just notation statement, nothing else special. So as per the concept of definition of the functional dependency, all the non-key attributes can depend on the A, B, or can be depend on the A. So this can be this part. And it is also possible if you do not want to choose the more attribute, if you want to choose a B and C as a non-key attributes, yes, of course you can choose. So BC can be the non-key attribute that can also depend on the A. It is also possible. That is the point. Okay, why? Because BC is a list of the elements which are the part of which is a part of the our list of all the elements, that is the A, B, C, D. So that is the point from the reflexive rule if you're remembering. So BC is a subset of the ABCD. So if we are saying over here, A is a primary key, so that can also depend on the, that can also primary key. So other non-key attribute that is BC or its single attribute or the combination of the multiple non-key attribute can also depend on the primary attributes that is the A. It is also possible. So these are the observations we are seeing over here. That was the question. What kind of the dependency we can observe? Okay, so that is the point. Please listen carefully. So that is the point. So we can say all the attributes that belong to the A, B, C, D. So A can't be considered because it is holding by the primary key. So other attribute, rest of the attribute, those are recognized by the B, C, D. That can be depend on the A. That is the point. So B, C, D are the other attributes, non-key attributes that can also depend on the key attributes that is a primary. If primary key does not exist, then we have to make two attributes as a key attributes. How we can choose, how we can it. We will see this part later on, but let us understand this concept properly. So from our understanding, we are observing that key is only the attribute which are holding the unique record. So we can say it is only the primary key. So is it clear to right now? So far it is clear. Before moving to the next slide, just let me know right now, is it clear to all or not? Any doubt in this slide? Just tell me right now if you have.
No doubt in this slide, sir.
Okay, so that's why I'm just using different color, different way to explain the idea. So everything is mentioned over here. So this slide will help you to understand the fundamental part.
Yes, sir.
Good. So since the value of the E is always the same, this is the point. Since the value of the E attribute will be the same, and why will be? It is mentioned over here in our table E1. E1 is a value which is holding by all the tuples in the attribute E. So we can say that E can be depend on the A. There may be one chance. So focus on the observation. E can depend on the A. Yes, of course. E is the E is we can say it is E is basically most weak attributes. It cannot have the uniqueness. It is having by the same value. So all it can also depend on the other non-key attributes. So E can also depend on the B and E can also depend on C and as well as the E can also depend on the D. So this is the one case we can observe over here. So this is the point we have to keep in mind properly. And is already highlighted by me over here. Now, when talking about the this point, so we are observing over everything going to the right direction. Is it true if I'm using the A B C D, if I'm using the A B C D, then is it possible the all the attributes A B C D except to the E A B C D E are determinant of the E or E is depend on the A B C D? Is it possible? Is it possible or not? Just can anyone tell me? Is it possible? We can say, is it possible all the values which are falling by the E attributes are depend on the ABC? So we can say the summarize we can say is E dependent on the ABCD? Is it possible? Just tell me right now. Just tell me over here. Please speak something over here. Just tell me yes or no. Yes, tell me yes or no so I can continue.
Yes, sir.
So what is the problem? Just tell me what is the problem over here? Yes, tell me what is the problem over here?
No problems.
So we cannot generalize the summary of the above statement A, B, C, D like this one. We can't. The reason is clear because in general, E is depend on the A and E is also depend on the B. The combination of the A, B is not holding. That's why A, B, C, D is not possible. That is the point. So see, in the left side, we have to determine the thing properly. Is it possible or not? Why? Because A is holding the primary and B is holding the non-key primary attribute. So if I'm merging with the primary key attributes, and primary key holding attributes and non-key primary attributes, so it was not easy task. So we have to understand the thing, we have to see the data, and based on data, we have to determine the thing. So that is the point. So this is the point we are saying to over here. A, B, C, D cannot determine the E, but E is also not depend on the its combination A, B, C, D. Individually is also possible. Individually it can also possible, but combination it cannot be possible. Why? Now see, look at this data. Look at this data. Because if I'm talking about the A3, so A3 is holding the B2, but it can also having the duplicacy over here, A3, A4. So the combination is not possible. So now see, A4 we have over here, but in the case of this point, now in the case of this point, we have the entire record as a duplicacy, except to the A4. So if I'm choosing the BCD as a unique purpose, so I can't take the BCD as uniqueness because B2, C2, and D2 is coming 2 times over here. So duplicacy will be here, so I can't make the this record BCD as a uniqueness. That is the reason. So if I need to use a, so I can take, but it is already determined. So combination cannot be possible with the primary key. So the fundamental part is saying to us the left side is not possible, right side is possible. So how it is not possible? So we have to take the thing properly step by step. And in the next example, where we have to see, we have to apply some rules. So far we are trying to understand is it possible or not. So here observation. Here we have the some observation based on the observation we are determining the thing properly. Is it happening or not? If it is happening, then how to determine the thing properly? So it is mandatory to understand the concept properly. Okay, so that is the reason. Now you have any doubt, so please you can ask me right now. Anyone who have any doubt so far, so please you can ask me right now.